Hi friends, it's Lynn from Bucket List Homestead, and I am going to make pumpkin butter. A few weeks ago, I guess very beginning of November, I made pumpkin butter and raved about it on my Facebook page, and many of my friends wanted the recipe, which I shared, but I think I still have one pumpkin left here to harvest. It's a white pumpkin. I want to save the seeds so we can grow our own white pumpkins next year. I have saved so many seeds from pumpkins and squashes this year. We will not have enough room to plant them all. Luckily, seeds, if you preserve them properly, will last for a while, so I should be good for a bit. Anyway, I'm going to save the seeds, scrape out all the gunk, and we will process it, cut it up, and I will show you how we're going to turn this into pumpkin butter. Delicious pumpkin butter. Okay, so first up, we got to get all this out of here. And a great tip is a mason jar lid. Scrapes all the stuff out beautifully. Like, usually I think I'd use a bigger one, but I can't find my bigger lids right now. I'm sure they're all packed away for next year's canning. So we're going to make do with this. I'm going to get out some paper towel so we can collect all these beautiful seeds. Just going to scrape all this out. I think we're just going to rip this out for now. I'm sure you've all gutted a pumpkin. So I'll see you here in a few seconds when I have this all done. Okay, so I got one pumpkin already gutted, but I just wanted to come back on real quick and show you how well the mason jar lid works. It just is so much easier. It's a lot easier to maneuver, and it gets in. And gets all that pulp out. So my chickens are going to enjoy most of this pulp. I think I have enough seeds here saved to plant, so they're going to get a few of those seeds. But look at this. See? Watch. Pretty cool, huh? Easy. Now I will suggest, because it's getting so hard to find mason jar lids, it's crazy, maybe it won't be as bad next year, I don't know. I'm going to have to start remembering to save one of my lids when we're finished with some of the jelly or tomato sauce or whatnot, because you can't use those again to can, but I can wash it up and certainly save them for hollowing out the pumpkins and the squashes, so I'm not using my brand new lids that are so hard to come by, because now I won't be able to use this one for canning. It's pretty much toast now. Okay. I mean, it's crazy how much you can get out with this. I think I put some pulp in there. And look, practically clean as a whistle. Okay, so now we've got this done. Give me a second and I will meet you at the stove. Okay, so I've got a very large cookie sheet. Let me just flip you out here. Sorry for the close-up. A very large cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. And I'm just going to turn my pumpkins okay, so I've lined a very large cookie sheet with some parchment paper. Makes cleanup much easier. And luckily, both halves fit on this. Okay. I put them upside down because pumpkins have a lot of water in them, and we're going to want as much water to come out of this as we can. So And if we roast these first, so much easier than trying to peel these. The white pumpkins I think are maybe a little bit easier to peel, but I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to leave them halved. You can even roast these whole, but I wanted to save the seeds for planting. So I've got my oven set for 350, and whoops, we fell. I'm going to get them in the oven, and they're going to go in the oven at least an hour. I'll check them on in an hour. You want them to be very, very tender. Like I want to be able to pierce this right through with a sharp knife, and we'll see what happens after an hour and if they're done. So we'll check you in an hour, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so it's been longer than an hour. It's actually been closer to 2, but I got a workout in and had to take a shower and stuff. But it is definitely done, and that is why we put the pumpkins upside down. I'm glad I checked on them when I did, because that is actually the second glass of juice I took out of the oven. Pumpkin juice. Those were very, very watery pumpkins, and there was no way I was going to attempt to pull that out with all the water in there. So they are done, and I'll take them out and I'll show you what they look like out of the oven. Okay, so that's not even a sharp knife, and look how easy that's going in. So they're definitely done. Oh, and here they come deflating. So we're going to let these cool, and then we'll scoop it out of the skin, and then we'll be on to the next step. At this point, the parchment is pretty much useless for cleanup. I'm still going to have to wash this pan. That was a lot of water in that pumpkin. I mean, like I said, 2 of those glasses full of it, and there's still quite a bit in the pan, but oh well, at least it won't be going into our pumpkin butter, right? All right, I'll see you in just a sec. Okay, we're back. So it has been here a good couple hours. They're all nice and cool. So we are just now going to scoop all this pumpkin, beautiful pumpkin, out, and we're going to put it right into the crock pot. So I'm going to need both hands for this. So give me just a second while I put down the camera, I guess. Okay, so I got somebody to be my camera person so I can finish this. So now that we've roasted these just scoop right out, and we're just going to put them right into the crock pot. This is what's great about this pumpkin butter. Other than roasting the pumpkin in the oven, that's the last time you're going to need the oven for this. So, be careful, some of the skin's coming off. We're just going to scrape it all out. So there's lots of things you can do with this pumpkin butter. You can have it just on its own. It's delicious. Or I like dipping graham crackers in it. I did a wonderful thing with it. Plain Greek yogurt. A couple tablespoons of pumpkin butter. Oh, probably maybe a cup or 2 of the yogurt. And I don't know, however much pumpkin butter you want. I think I did maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. You put it in the yogurt overnight. Next morning you get up, you have it. It tasted like pumpkin cheesecake. It was delicious. It was so good. So this is definitely going to become a yearly thing here, making pumpkin butter. So I just got about all the pumpkin. Boy, there was a lot of water in these white pumpkins. Honestly, this is the first time I've done this with the white pumpkins. And it definitely seems much more watery than the orange pumpkins. My goodness. That's a lot of water. Okay. So we're just going to scoop out this other one. Okay. I'll finish scooping this out, and I'll be back here in just a second. Okay, so I got all the pumpkin into the crock pot. I'll show you it. And you can see there's a lot of water still in there. So I'm just going to take my immersion blender. If you don't have one of these, you can even put it, instead of putting it into the crock pot, put it into a blender, blend it all up, and then put that into the crock pot. But I have this. I absolutely love it. And we're just going to blend this up. So it's going to be loud for a second. Well, not that loud. You want to make this into a puree. There's a lot of water in this pumpkin, so I think we're going to do a couple of things different than what I did with the orange pumpkins when I made my last batch. And if this doesn't come out, all this video was for nothing because you're not going to see this anyway. So we'll just hope it's going to work. So, because there's so much water in this, I'm going to go ahead and let this cook in the crock pot for, we'll say an hour or two. See if more of the water comes out of it. And then once that is done and it doesn't seem as watery, then I will add all the other ingredients that will make this into pumpkin butter. I don't want to do it now because I think they'll just be watered down because there is a lot of water in this. So we're going to see if we can get a little more evaporated. Okay, so this is what we got now. It's a little bit smoother. And we're going to put the lid on. Put it on low. And we'll check on it in about an hour or so and see how much is evaporating. I think it might take more than an hour. It's probably going to take 2. There's a lot of water in here. And then hopefully once the water's gone soon, we can come back to this and I will show you the ingredients to put into this. And then hopefully, so once we put all the ingredients in and we let it go, once we put all the ingredients in, we're going to let it cook in the crock pot on low all night into the next day. The first batch I made, I think it cooked for like 2 days. So yeah, we just put it on the stove and forget it. But like I said, I'm gonna let the water come out of it and I'll come back in a little bit and I will show you the rest of the recipe. See you soon. Okay, so the pumpkin's been cooking away for, it's been about a good 2 hours and it's definitely got a lot less liquid than we had. So that's good. So now we're gonna add all the ingredients to the raw pumpkin. I guess it's not raw anymore because it's been cooking. We're going to add ingredients to the pumpkin to start turning this into pumpkin butter. So first thing I need is cinnamon. Now, this is to taste. We love cinnamon in this house. Like, as you can see, I have a huge container of it. But I also add cinnamon to the chicken's feed too in the wintertime. So we go through a lot of cinnamon. So like I said, we like a lot of cinnamon. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of allspice, and a half a teaspoon of cloves. Bring the camera over here to kind of show in there. This is a half a cup of brown sugar, organic brown sugar. And then I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. This a stir. And once this is all done, we're going to put the lid back on and this is going to cook all night. And when I come down tomorrow morning, I will check on it. I will run the immersion blender through it again to really puree it, taste it, and if it needs a little more maple syrup or more spices or more brown sugar, I will add it then and let it cook. If I have to add more, I let it cook for like another hour so it can really incorporate. And then we immersion blender it all up. But for now, we are done. So this is what it looks like. And it's going to change in color. It's going to get very, very deep in color as it cooks.
Why does it take a whole night to cook?
It just tastes better. The longer it cooks, the better it tastes. So we'll let this go all night. Come down in the morning. It's going to smell very good in the house in the morning. We'll let this go, and I will see you tomorrow in the morning when it's been done cooking all night. See you in a bit. Okay, so it's morning and the house smells so good. So I've tasted it and it does need a little bit more. I'm going to give it a little bit more cinnamon and a little bit more brown sugar. And then it's going to cook for probably about another hour. And then I'll let it cool down. And I will get it into containers and put it in the freezer. And that should be good. I'm just going to immersion blend it up. As you can see too, the color's really changed as it cooked. And that's what you want to see. So I'm going to let this go for about another hour, and then I'll let it cool down, and then I'll put it in my containers I have ready for the freezer and freeze it up. And that's how we make pumpkin butter. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until the next video, everyone stay safe.